Hi, I'm Ken Heydrich, Dean of the Pie Academy, and I hope you stay tuned because I just put the finishing touches on my brand new hand pie recipe, and I want to tell you all about it. Let's get started. So I spent the last couple of weeks playing around with hand pies, and I want to pass along a few lessons that I learned and walk you through my recipe so you can get acquainted. Now this happens to be a recipe for a mixed berry hand pie, but you can use this as a model for other hand pies. Here's a few things I've learned. First of all, use cooked fruit. Cooked fruit is more compact than uncooked, and the flavor is concentrated, so you end up with a better tasting filling. Plus, you don't have to worry about whether or not the filling is fully cooked when the pastry is done, since it is pre-cooked. What I like to do is thicken the fruit with cornstarch as it cooks, and then I let it cool and chill it overnight. And the next morning I stir in a few uncooked berries so the filling has a more complex consistency and a fresh flavor. Now the pastry I use is a variation of the food processor crostata dough that many of you have written to me and raved about. It's very easy to make and it's a cinch to roll out. Like the filling, I also like to make this the day before I plan to assemble and bake the hand pies. The dough just appreciates that overnight rest. Now, when you roll the dough out, don't make it too thin. It should be like a fat 1/8 inch thick. If you make the dough too thin, all that's going to happen is your filling is going to bust through. Now, speaking of which, take it from me, Mr. More is Better, that enough filling is plenty. I have this terrible habit of overfilling my hand pies. Here's me in one of my weaker moments. You see what I mean. If you do overfill your turnovers, I can virtually guarantee you that your filling will end up slopping out onto the baking sheet like this. Of course, the technical term us bakers use for this phenomena isn't slopping, it's blurping. So after you moisten the edge of your pastry with a wet fingertip, just add about 1/4 cup filling and leave a wide border all around. Then you fold the dough over the filling without stretching it. You pinch the edge to seal it, and then crimp it with a big fork. That's my big pastry fork you see here, and it's one of my absolute favorite kitchen tools. Now, before you bake them, put your hand pies in the freezer for maybe 15 minutes or in the fridge for about 30 minutes to firm up the dough. This will help keep the pastry nice and flaky. Once they've chilled, I like to poke a couple of steam vents in the top with my paring knife. Then I brush the hand pies sparingly with the egg wash and sprinkle them with a good amount of sugar. This helps them to brown up and makes the outsides nice and crusty. As for the actual baking, I've played around with this and I like about 25 minutes at 375 degrees until they've started to turn this rich golden color. I find that it works best if you bake them a little high in the oven too, above that middle rack, to help them brown faster. Finally, and this is sort of optional, but it's a really nice touch, I love to glaze my hand pies. This is one of those glazes that sets up hard and it gives your hand pies street cred because it reminds everyone of the glaze on those Hostess fruit pies we all grew up on and love. I just drizzle it on rather than try to coat the whole thing. And that's pretty much it. Easy as pie, or hand pies as the case may be. I hope this video inspires you to make your own hand pies. And when you do, please let me know how they turn out. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you over at the Pie Academy real soon.